Live on DSTV, channel 421, Go TV 144, this is your home of independent, fearless, credible and impactful journalism. On our prime decks tonight, we start from Bujumbura Refugee Camp as residents vow not to relocate until adequate compensation is paid. But authorities say the camp has outlived its usefulness as the deadline handed residents to move expires.
Come and break their house over things. Let them break it. We will go and sleep in the street. Maybe that's what they want.
I have nowhere to go. If you see anyone parking that way, they are Ghanaians.
The place itself has outlived its usefulness. Bujumbura has become so notoriously popular for criminal activities.
Kintampo residents live in fear as robbers take advantage of a broken down bridge to terrorize them. Hundreds are trapped and at least 40 communities cut off due to floods.
They have taken the road construction as a politics. This as NDC time they give, so MPP come at times they don't take care of certain things fastly.
This year I want some new masumi. Come you quite from, but this year just a so much. Now they met me quite from you.
In business, oil marketing leader Gulf finally adjusts fuel prices by more than 2% per litre. We'll hear from an analyst who says we could be paying more in the coming days.
Oil prices, which are called the wild card in this three category, is the one that is actually pushing all these dynamics. And unfortunately, Ghana as a country, we don't have control over whatever the global dynamics are going to be.
My name is Ernest Min and Johnny's Prime is coming to you live from our Fanofa studios at Kukumemle here in Accra. Stay tuned in for the details. Hello again, thank you very much for joining us. For more than 3 decades, the camp sitting on 141-acre land has been home to thousands of West African nationals. Liberians and Sierra Leoneans fled their countries during civil war and settled at the Bujumbura Refugee Camp. The place is no longer recognized as a refugee camp, but remains home to many. The Gomwa East District Assembly has handed residents up until the close of day to relocate as a demolition exercise may take place soon. But the residents are making demands. Joseph Akable has the rest of the story.
After certain things that UN used to do when they stop, as a man you can sit, you are doing something and you have a life goes on and then you become a father, you need to start doing something to give the support to the one that you...
Yeah, they treat you like a foreigner. Some of them appreciate you, some of them don't appreciate you.
Sometimes to the border, immigration is asking you. Sometimes immigration will ask you, when are you going back to your country? Even when you show them resident that you are here.
The refugee camp has been home to many Liberian and Sierra Leonean nationals for more than 2 decades. It became a home following years of civil war. The wars have since ended. The United Nations has ceased recognizing the area as a camp for refugees. Some refugees took advantage of the various packages and moved out of the camp. Others, however, continue to live here.
I already packed my things and I cannot pack out because they have not come out to my rescue to give my doable solution. They have not given me my doable solution. So I have to stay on the camp.
They said we should leave, and we're not getting anything from them yet. How can we leave today? So what they have, all they should give it out that you can go. Because if we can give it, we'll stay here in their nose and we will not leave. Even if they break their houses, we'll still be there. When we leave there, the UN will come for us and we can.
I will not move.
You are saying you're not going to move?
I will not move because Ghana Refugee Board, Ghana government, Ghana UNHCR have not applied a three-dribble solution for the refugees. That is why you see they can't park with Liberians. When they come down with a three-dribble solution, they will not see Liberians on their camp here. Everybody will go.
The Gomwa East District Assembly says September 30 is the day residents are expected to relocate ahead of the planned demolition. Solomon Dako Kwam is chief executive.
DISEC met and agreed on a 2-month ultimatum, or if you like, moratorium for residents to leave the place. And that 2 months ends today, being 30th of September. After that, the rest of the matter is a national security issue. So the demolition, the actual demolition, may commence anytime from after today. So that is what is going on, and we decided to put out that final reminder to residents that the last day is here.
The residents have their own concerns.
I didn't pack anything. It's there. If they want to come and break their house of my things, let them break it. We will go and sleep in the street. Maybe that's what they want.
Of Ghanaians, Liberians, Ivorians, all of us, we are all one. So they should see about us.
Are you going to move from here?
No, when they say we should move from there, UN should come and decide. We are living with UN people here. You understand?
If they like today, they bring entire Ghana to come to the camp, then we stay here. It won't for anything. We just look at you. Into you do. But what is that? Tell your government open border, will go back to our country.
But even if we break the house today, I will stay here today.
Stay right here.
I have nowhere to go. If you see anyone parking that way, they are Ghanaians.
While few of them have packed out, others gathered at the community center to demand adequate relocation package.
Here is not in vain. I came here as a refugee. I never came here to hustle. I never came here to cause trouble. Liberia is a peaceful country. We love the whole world. The whole world wants to live in Liberia right now.
The assembly says its work is to inform the residents of the impending demolition.
Budubrem has become so notoriously popular for criminal activities. A number of robbers are often chased to that place for arrests and those things. I hope you have not also lost sight of the fact that it was just Budubrem, the same Budubrem that 2 able-bodied policemen were gunned down one hot afternoon, and several of them. So the security matter challenge is one. But that aside, the place itself has outlived its usefulness. By that I mean it has ceased to be a camp since 2010.
A date for the demolition is yet to be fixed. For Joy News, Joseph Akabile, Budumbram.
Let's go into Zoom now and speak to the acting head of the Refugee Board, Tete Paddy. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us here on Joy News Prime. The DCE indicated that you as a board have a responsibility towards a few of the refugees. How many are we looking at, and what exactly are you supposed to do for them? You'd have to unmute, sir, so we can hear you.
Sorry about that, Ernest.
Yes,
we have about over 400 refugees who are still on the camp. And these individuals are refugees because at the time that the cessation clause was being implemented for Liberian refugees, they applied for exemption. In fact, about over 3,000 persons applied for exemption. And just about 10% succeeded in being exempted. So those are the people who are still refugees, and those are the people that we are under obligation to find shelter for.
Okay, so, I mean, when the camp was declared non-existent in 2012, there was the option for some of them to integrate. As part of the plan, you were to provide them with a passport, NHIS card, and some cash grant as well. Have you done that? Have you met those obligations?
Right. So just slight correction. The camp did not cease to exist, but we implemented cessation, which means the end of refugee status for the Liberians.
Okay.
We have, for those who opted for local integration, what they were telling us was that they wanted to live in Ghana because they had social and economic ties here. They would be able to stay here and look after themselves. They were given a package that included a free passport, a residence permit that was paid for by the Ghana government and the UNHCR, 50-50. They were given a 1-year subscription of national health insurance, and then they were given an amount of $400 US. I've heard some of them say 400 cedis. Okay. $400 US per adult. And so, for instance, in a household where there are 4 adults, that was $1,600. Now, this amount of money was meant to be support for shelter. It was not meant to give them shelter for the rest of their lives or the rest of their time in Ghana. I remember clearly us telling them that it was meant to assist them to obtain shelter, at least for a first year, Okay. And since they are being given residence and work permits, it is expected that they would work and look after themselves, be able to pay rent the subsequent years. And that was the reason why they were given the amount of money that they were given.
Okay. Some of them are holding on to some sort of a concept paper concerning the closure of the camp, which states, among other things, support for shelter. And that is, one of the reasons why they say they cannot be removed from the camp if you do not provide them. What is your response to that?
Nobody promised to give them houses. What was promised was support for shelter. And that is what I mentioned as, I indicated as the $400 per adult. And that support was meant to be for a year, a year's rent, more or less. After that, they were expected to be able to rent their own accommodation. And indeed, they were asked to move out of the camp.
So for those 400 people whom you have responsibility towards, have you relocated them already? And where exactly are you taking them?
We have engaged them. We are in the process of registering those who want to be relocated. Mind you, not all of them want to be relocated outside Accra. Our camps are outside Accra.
Okay.
And so we have engaged them, and we are in the process of relocating, making arrangements to relocate those who want to be relocated.
If they do not want to be relocated outside Accra, do they have the option of giving them places within the capital?
Not within the capital. We don't have any houses or any shelters within the capital. Our camps are located outside of Accra.
So how many do you have? Do you have enough for all 400 of them?
Thankfully, the British High Commission assisted us with renovation of some shelters. We also got some help from the American Embassy. We do not have enough at the moment, but we're working fervently towards renovating some of the rundown structures to ensure that we are able to host, we're able to accommodate all of them, all those who would want to be accommodated.
Now that the time for evacuation has elapsed today, essentially, for those who are still within the camp, can you give them the assurance that before the demolition exercise, which we are not told when, only except that we understand it will happen soon, before that exercise, you will definitely find them a place and that they will not be adversely affected?
We're in constant touch with the District Assembly, who are leading this charge. And I can assure them that for those who would want to be relocated to a refugee camp, they will not be taken out of the place before they're ready to move out.
How about those outside the exemption fold, the 400 that you're taking care of? If today some of them would want to leave the country to their country, back to Liberia, do they have the opportunity? Are you prepared to facilitate their movement? They cite the closure of the border, for instance, as a major challenge. Will you help them?
Well, they are Liberian nationals living in Ghana, and if they want to leave, I don't think anybody will prevent them. We have had arrangements with government, for instance, where people, Ivorians, for instance, who want to voluntarily return to Cote d'Ivoire have been given passage. And so if indeed they want to return, I'm sure some arrangements can be made.
And for those who need some support, is the board willing at all to help them move, from the camp? Those who are still
not if they are not one of the over 400 refugees, no.
And so you can assure us that the board has done everything within its within the legal framework, and you've done right by the people.
Absolutely, I can assure you.
Thank you very much. That's the acting head of the Refugee Board, Tete Paddy, joining us on the issue of the evacuation at Budumbram and, of course, the pending demolition, which will be following up for you. But away from that, hundreds of persons are unable to cross to their villages as at least 40 communities are cut off from Kintampo Township in the Bono East region. It follows heavy rains which have resulted in floods there. Correspondent Anas Abet reports a major bridge linking Kintampo to the district in the region has been washed away, cutting off many communities.
We are here in the Kintampo North municipality of the Bono East region. This road network links the Kintampo Township to over 40 communities beyond the Oyoko River, and it also connects Kintampo to the Upper West region through Bamboy. For days, the people have been cut off from the township because torrential rainfalls have washed away parts of the road. Today we are engaging the people here on how the situation is affecting their economic activities in general.
The construction was given since at a mills period, and every year it do happen, but this year has become worse. At times you can't even cross the school. You are motorbikes, you will be passing through the water with the motorbike, pulling here and there. You can't even move. Till this year, this small bridge that has also been collapsed. Therefore, we are stranded now. We don't know how to cope about.
How are our honey dear? You can't tell more or move fear.
They don't listen to us when we talk. Several of us got injured when this happened. I was personally hurt whilst trying to help others. For the several farmers who have to travel from the Kintampo township to their various farms, they are currently stuck home because they can't convey food items from the farms to the markets.
Area have on a for
we are farmers here. For this now, we are not able to go to our farms. We are not able to cross to the market. The contractor has been delaying on this project. It's a huge problem right now. This is a major challenge for all of us. We can't all go to our farms and we have to buy food, though we are farmers. The situation has affected transportation fares as well, as we are now paying double the amount. Also, agro-input dealers who have to supply these farmers with fertilizers and other agro-inputs are currently out of service because they cannot supply their customers. These farmers are now in their second farming season. I am a supplier of agro-inputs. I'm supposed to supply right now, but we are unable to convey the inputs here. And if something is not done within the next 7 days, their crops may be going waste. Drivers and other, workers in the area are equally perturbed with the situation, with some of the drivers claiming that their businesses are collapsing, and they are also appealing to authorities to intervene swiftly to save them from what they are going through currently.
Contractor no, in fact, say they are not. Machines or the machines.
The contractor comes and after few patches moves to a different location. He brought some machines yesterday and today they've moved all the machines.
In fact, in
fact, it is collapsing our work because for days I'm unable to buy LPG for my vehicle. So how do I work? Are they expecting us to go into robbery? Authorities should tell the contractor to return to site before something unexpected happens. The culvert he provided wasn't good enough, so it was washed away. We've been spending so much money on maintenance of our vehicles over the years, and our drivers have been complaining. Aside these issues, one key point has to do with security, because the people here are saying armed robbers have taken advantage of this situation and they are robbing people during odd hours. Armed robbers have taken advantage of the roads. This is where they launch their robberies on people. If not because we are here in our numbers, they would have been here by now. So, with over 40 communities beyond this bridge, this is the only temporal structure that has been provided by those in authority to aid the movement of people to and from their communities into the Kintampo municipality. As we speak, vehicles and motorbikes are unable to cross this bridge, and as a result, the situation is terrible. With the rains still in, they are afraid this may equally be washed away should it rain heavily this evening. So from the Kintampo North Municipality of the Bono East Region, my name is Anas Sabit, reporting for Joy News.
Anas joins us on Zoom with more on this story. And as we saw that temporary structure, definitely vehicles cannot use that except some motorbikes and maybe bicycles. Even that will be a challenge. How are the residents reacting to that provision, and what have authorities been saying about it?
For the residents who are predominantly farmers, their concern has to do with the fact that their farm produce have been left into their various farms. They are unable to convey them to the township, in the township, for them to sell. Yesterday was the market day for Kintampo, and people who are supposed to have been to the market, about 40 of these communities, have not been able to attend to the market. The people even in the Kintampo township have felt the inability of these farmers and traders getting into the township to trade. So it is a major concern because these farm produce, some of them are perishable, and after some few days, they may all be going waste, and that is a huge concern for these people we've been engaging.
But what has the regional minister been saying about this incident?
Yes, the regional minister visited the scene himself on Tuesday, and he's engaged the contractor. He met the contractor on site. The contractor promised to ensure that something is done immediately to ensure that the people are able to cross with vehicles. So he brought in some huge stones, poured them into that segment of the road that you see where people are able to walk across the river. So he assured the minister something will be done swiftly. After 2 days, he's not even on site when I got there. And so that is a major worry. The minister told me he has spoken with the roads minister, and the roads ministry has a promise that something swift, urgent will be done to ameliorate this situation.
Anas, thank you very much. And we'll be following up on that once the promises come from the regional minister that government will move in swiftly. We'll see what will happen. Now, if you are a user of the Accra-Tema motorway roundabouts, gather round because government has today announced that construction of the road, which is to cost $570 million, and that will start by December 2021. That's not all. It is also expected to be completed in 2024. Users of that stretch have described it as a death trap because of the number of lives it has claimed and the danger it poses because of gaping potholes in them. Listen to some callers into the Super Morning Show Thursday.
I think the leadership of this nation think that the people are ignorant, because look at the number of cars that are charged tolls on this motorway every day. And for over 60 years, we've been running this road without any proper repair.
Why do we use bitumen to patch concrete? The two have different properties under the sun. They behave differently. And the same spot, the bitumen will go off, leaving the concrete there, and this time a bigger hole. If we were to be maintaining it, as at the time coming Kuma constructed this road, the motor will not be like that. And the most annoying is that they work during the day, creating inconvenience for ordinary citizens. Our engineers must wake up.
Is somebody working? Who is in charge? Who is monitoring it? And they will say the potholes will become manholes before they come to work on it. What kind of country are we in?
Are they happy supervising over such things in this country? Why? Where do you see such a thing in this part of the world?
Who is heading the Minister of Roads and Highways? The Minister, Amakwata. The man can talk, but not delivering. He can talk.
We are really retrogressing. The patch being done on the motorway is totally useless.
If it truly the motorway is patched, in fact, it is good, because the last time my heart beat when
I was driving through that way. The indiscipline, the impunity on that road, you just can't imagine. Institutions and their leaders in this country are not properly working.
The problem is with the pothole that has been filled with the bitumen, which you drive on and you have to be stopping and ensuring that your tire don't get bent. And the other one has to do with the traffic due to the entrance. I am so frustrated as a citizen of this country.
Now, government spokesperson on infrastructure, Kojo Frimpong, provided details of the major construction starting in December 2021.
Let me speak for the record. The most competent solution to the motorway is what government has adopted. It is not repair, it is not patching, it is a complete redesign, re-engineering, and reconstruction of the motorway. We signed a deal with Motor Angel, a construction deal or a commercial deal with Motor Angel. This motorway you see is now going to become a 10-lane motorway. You're going to have 4 lanes, the one which is there now being a freeway. We signed the engineering procurement contract in 2020. We are now arranging the funds that will come with it so that we can send it to Parliament for approval before it starts. As we speak, we expect that by December 2020, 3 months hence, we should be on site beginning the motorway.
You mean December 2021?
December 2021, we should be on site beginning the motorway. That's our expectation.
When it comes to the arrangement of funds, where are we at the moment?
We need to disclose it on this platform now, but I can tell you that we are very far. Some of the people who are pitching in have already been contacted. In fact, some have been in Ghana. I know that about 2-3 weeks ago, Motor Angel was in Ghana, met with the Ministry of Finance. So we are pretty far. There's going to be an interchange at Teshilink. There's going to be an interchange at Abattoir. There's going to be a new interchange at Fiesta Royal Hotel. The New Plant Junction is going to have an interchange. There are going to be 14 pedestrian bridges, footbridges on this motorway, and then street lights and toll plazas. It's quite a project. So we think it's a 36 months project. So by 2024, it should be done.
You recall the minority demanded the abrogation of the $570 million Accra-Tema motorway expansion contract between government and Motor Angel, describing it as illegal because it has not been approved by Parliament. Kwame Gavins Adboja is the ranking member on Parliament's Transport Committee.
We have laws in this country, and the law clearly states in Article 1815 that anytime you are entering into an agreement with a foreign entity that has got economic or a loan value, you ought to seek permission from Parliament. The Minister of Roads and Highways is aware of this act and has gone into enter into an agreement with a company called Motor Angel without any respect to Article 1815. We've been raising this issue, and he's not bothered, but it's a breach of the Constitution and must not be allowed to stand. We are giving him the last chance to do the right thing, abrogate that contract, and do the right thing. Secondly, you will notice that the contract is still invalid because there has no source of funding. Now they are saying they are looking for funding.
Well, issues about why this major contract was not captured in the budget were also raised during the conversation on the Super Morning Show today. Kojo Frimpong explains why.
The motorway is being delivered by an SPV, right? So it's not necessarily an item that should appear on the budgeting of the roads and highways. The motorway is being delivered by a special purpose vehicle. It's an asset of the Ministry for Roads and Highways. But the funding for it and how it's being arranged will not sit on the books of the Roads and Highways Ministry. It's a special purpose vehicle. So I'm not at liberty to disclose all the components of a special purpose vehicle because, when you're arranging funds, the fund arrangers have told us that they like to be quiet, they like to stay in the background.
You're watching Joy News Prime with me, Ernest Minu. Still to come in business, oil marketing leader GOL finally adjusts fuel prices by more than 2% per litre. We'll hear from an analyst who says we could be paying more in the coming days.
cut in these three categories is the one that is actually pushing all these dynamics. And unfortunately, Ghana as a country, we don't have control over whatever the global dynamics are going to be.
We have details of this and more, plus the latest in showbiz and in sports after this break. Stay with us.
Hello there, you're welcome to Business. I'm Charles Aite. Market leader Goil has increased its prices of fuel, a situation that would force other players to adjust theirs upwards. A litre of both diesel and petrol is now selling at 6 cedis 50 pesos. It was previously 6 cedis 35 pesos. Speaking on the marketplace, energy strategist Dr. Yusuf Sulemana said the situation is likely to be worse because of development on the international market, of which the country has no control over.
If you look at what is happening, one will always say that it is very unfortunate, but are we able to, blame the PSPs that petroleum services provided? I doubt no, because I believe these things are also, not within their control, if I may put it that way. Because if you look at the dynamics that is causing this to happen, I mean, every pundit who has observed this industry for the past couple of months will expect what is happening.
So was it expected, if we could ask that question?
Yes, I think it was expected, Charles. And why am I saying that? If you look at our price build-up categorically in Ghana, we have three components that goes into the price build-up. One of them will be the exchange rates, of course, the taxes, and then the crude oil in the global market. Whatever the crude oil sells in the global market, it will have direct cascading impact at our pumps. And looking closely on all these three factors, I think none of them is working to the favor of the poor consumer, unfortunately. Exchange rates are largely not stable, of course. Taxes are high on the roof, almost 50% of what the consumer pays at the pump. And then crude oil prices, which are called the wild card in these three categories, is the one that is actually pushing all these dynamics. And unfortunately, Ghana as a country, we don't have control over whatever the global dynamics are going to be. So, of course, these three factors are what is accountable for what is happening now. And I think, like I said, every expert or every pundit who monitors the industry will expect nothing but what is happening.
Now, the Ghana-UK trade agreement is set to begin on Friday. This was revealed by the Minister of Trade and Industries. Now, the agreement aims to secure tariff-free trade and promote and as well provide a platform for greater economic and cultural cooperation. Speaking at the inauguration of the 6-member governing board of the Ghana Standards Authority, the minister called on the institution to expand Ghana's opportunities in the international market. There is more in this report.
The Ghana-UK Trade Partnership Agreement will support businesses to increase their processes, encourage innovation in the market and create jobs as the country recovers from the ravaging effect of the coronavirus pandemic. The Trades Minister, while announcing the commencement of the agreement, added that other market integration frameworks such as the African Continental Free Trade Area, EU-Ghana Economic Partnership Agreement are already being implemented. He therefore urged the newly inaugurated board of the Ghana Standards Authority to support government's flagship program.
Ghana has signed on to a number of major international trade agreements, including the African Continental Free Trade Agreement, the AFCFTA. We've also started implementing the new Ghana EU Economic Partnership Agreement, which opens up the entire EU market to Ghana duty-free, quota-free. On the 1st of October, we'll also start implementing the Ghana-UK Interim Partnership, Trade Partnership and Investment Agreement.
Professor Felix Charles Robertson, on behalf of the board members, thanked the President for the confidence reposed in them.
We shall ensure that the strategies and policies agreed by the board are effectively implemented by the Director General and the GSA management team. We shall also establish good corporate governance practices and procedures and promote the highest standards of integrity,
Ghanaian products including bananas, tinned tuna and cocoa will benefit from the tariff-free access to the United Kingdom once the agreement takes effect. Ghana's largest exports to the UK include mineral fuels and oil. Its top imports include textiles, machinery and mechanical appliances and chemical products from the United Kingdom. Christian Yali for Joy Business.
And that'll be all for this segment. We have sports coming next. Do stay.
It's time for sport. I'm Hans Mensah, and the former Hearts of Oak midfielder Benjamin Afutu-Kote is on the verge of joining newly promoted Egyptian side El Shakia Dorkan FC. Afutu, who was a key player for the Phobians last season, was close to renewing his contract with the Continental Club Masters, but negotiations broke down. His manager Daniel Taki has been telling Joy Sport exactly what happened.
I believe the club started, on a wrong route. In every contract, when you are interested in the money, and you started, with the money issue, it will not get anywhere. Because it is not the money that, will make the contract a contract. As for money issue, there within 2-3 minutes, people can agree on something. Once you have the correct valuation of, what you are going to do or the player that you want. So they started from the money. I even objected, and rejected it. I'm not interested in that. We should start from contract negotiation. Moreover, the existing contracts, there are certain things that you are supposed to do, and you have not done it. And you have even changed your policy as a club. You have been paying signing on fee, and you are not paying signing on fee again. And, you sit down for a player to come to the negotiating table before you tell the player, we are no more paying signing on fee. What do you want the player to do if he's a reasonable person? So I told them, and it's like, oh, okay, we are now going to tell the press. I said, it's wrong. So go back and do the right thing so that we can continue the negotiation. So it's like, so how much do you want to take as a signing on fee, as a salary? And the way the discussions were going, we told them our mind. So we requested for a draft contract after telling them our mind. The drafts came, and totally what we mentioned is not what is in the contract. So I started to raise alarm. That's yes. You have asked me something. We have raised, we have told you our mind. In the draft, we are expecting that those things will be in the draft. Then we can, agree and decide and speak to those things. But what you have given me is totally different. Moreover, do what is in the existing contract, complete it, so that the process can continue. So, it started from there. Until I think the then, chief executive left, I think Mr. Moore. And, Akambi came over, that he has been appointed by the board to come and continue the negotiation. And he took over, and, things didn't go the way we wanted. So it's like negotiation, at a point, break. And because we were not happy. We were not happy. The way comments were going, things were going, we were not happy at all. So we told him our peace of mind. Yes.
Barcelona is set to sack manager Ronald Koeman, and this could happen before their next game. That's according to Spanish football expert Guillem Balague. There is more in this report.
Barca have lost both their Champions League group games 3-0, with Wednesday's defeat at Benfica particularly damaging. They are unbeaten in La Liga but are seized after 3 draws from 6 games. Koeman and Laporta have had a strained relationship since Laporta was elected as club president in March. The former Netherlands boss has had to deal with the fallout from Barca legend Lionel Messi's departure from the Camp Nou, and is also in charge at a time when the club are in dire financial straits. Belgium manager Roberto Martinez has been considered the favourite to take charge should the Barca job become vacant. Laporta is an admirer of Martinez's approach, and it helps that the former Everton boss has a strong relationship with Barcelona's sporting advisor Jordi Cruyff, though the ex-Manchester United winger will not be involved in any appointment process. But there are other names in the frame too. Marcelo Gallardo of River Plate is a contender, but it is thought he would not be willing to leave the Argentine club midway through a season, while ex-Juventus manager Andrea Pirlo has also been mentioned. But it is a Barcelona playing legend, Xavi Hernandez, who could be best placed to challenge Martinez for the role.
That's it for this installment. We bring you more sport later in the bulletin. I'm Hans Mensando.
It's now time for the latest in the world of showbiz, and KMJ is here. I
Yeah.
almost said JKM. I don't know why.
It's all good. KMJ, JKM, they all good.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you doing?
I'm good. What do you have for us today?
We still have news coming through of the late Nana Ampadu, and you know that the whole of this week we've had a series of tributes coming in. Now, Dr. Mohammed Awal, who is the Minister for Tourism, Creative Arts, has also paid a visit to the family to pay his respect to the family. A lot of people are looking forward to engagement about whether or not we're going to have a state burial. I'm sure he's going to play a very important role. But we have video of what he said when he got there.
It's obvious that over the years, over his life on earth, Nana Ampadu was a very great icon, not just to Ghana, but to the rest of the world. His songs touch on every subject that mattered on this in Ghana, and the country has lost an illustrious person in terms of creative arts. His songs the lyrics had a lot of meaning. It had a lot of profound advice for young people, even for the elderly. So we cannot quantify the loss. Just to say that the industry has lost a great person, and the world is the loser.
Well, whatever happens, I'm looking forward to like a concert. If government doesn't do it, maybe Musica can take it up. Whoever, just to honor him.
If we have the fans, we'll do it. You know, it's all about money. Okay, let's see how it goes. Also, the Deputy Minister of Tourism, Creative Arts, Mr. Michael Krikumante, was also there. He also talked about his relationship with Nana Ampadu even before, they got to do music and all of that. Okay. So he also paid a visit. Let's have a look at it.
Nana is a role model, not to just myself, but to almost everyone who practices in the arts industry. Because we grew up on his music. You saw your mother, your father, seeing him as a great performer, a great writer, a good song or storyteller. And so it was a privilege to meet Nana Ampadu after so many years, admiring him from afar. As an event organizer, I did a lot of events with him, very professional. He would always bring people together when people want to disperse. When there is agitation, he's a unifier. Because of naturally his age and his calmness, he will make sure that we all tone down and find a midpoint so we all move forward. Again, as I campaigned for the ruling party, the New Patriotic Party, NPP, he also had passion for the president, then a candidate. And so we had to converge at a point and then work together to make sure that President Akufo-Addo wins power. Yeah. And that is why I'm here today. And so Creative Art for Change, which we formed, and Ampadu played a pivotal role as well. Yeah.
All right. What are some of the lessons this generation can learn from Nana Ampadu?
The whole world is watching. Yeah. Every step counts.
All right, every step counts.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
Let's step in the studios of Joy FM.
And stepping into the studios, we had Mike visiting. He was on our various platforms and spoke about a lot of things that some viewers and fans wanted to know about him, especially the fact that there was an altercation that happened in a radio station where Mike attacked one Nollywood actor, Uche. Uche, did a live video and spoke about Jamaica, about the fact that he's a virtualist, and, it was alleged. Now, Jamaica saw the video and then decided that, okay, he's going to look for this guy. So the guy goes for a radio interview. Jamaica stops the place and asks him, if you can tell me on social media, tell me now.
Yeah.
And there's a bit of, a very nasty...
Yeah, it went viral.
Oh, yeah. So we asked him about it, and he explains why that situation happened. So let's check out Jamaica and what he feels about it.
The truth is that we're all humans. Not my finest hour, I dare say, but emotions run high. Why does it have to be the public figure that is held accountable all the time, that is held at the highest standards of moral ethics all the time? We all get into arguments, don't we? We're all humans. We all go to have a conversation. I didn't wake up in the morning and I walk into this gentleman's studio and decided to have an altercation with him. Don't forget, something provoked that incident already. This is a man that called into question my integrity in the first place. that said I'm a ritualist, that's how I live the life I live, the quality of life I live. I'm a man that, this man said that they should check the means of my wealth, that the quality of life and the things that I own obviously has to have nefarious background, questionable background, that I'm a ritualist. Okay? This is someone that lives in a country where we have the most corrupt leaders of all times.
It's so straight to the point, eh?
Yeah, that very intelligent guy.
KMJ, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us. The news continues on Joy News. You don't want to go away. Many thanks for staying with us here on Joy News Prime. 3 nominees for various metropolitan, municipal and district assemblies have been rejected by assembly members as of Tuesday. Shockingly, Kwabra East District, which is host of the constituency with the highest votes for the ruling party, is one of the affected areas. Etrima Nwabeja and Joabin are districts where assembly members are not convinced about the nominees. Nana Aljima has been speaking to Love News' researcher Eugene Osetutu on developments so far.
Since Monday, approval for some of the nominees for the MMDC positions in the Ashanti region have been ongoing, and we've had some rejections in the Ashanti region and also some of the president's nominees going through. With me is Eugene Osetutu of our research desk of Love FM to tell us what his findings have been so far. So Eugene, so far, what have you realized from the elections?
In the Ashanti region thus far, we are having 16 of these elections being conducted. That represents 37% of the total election expected thus far. We've also had 13 of them being approved, some getting 100%. For example, when you go to the Asokwa constituency, we have the MDC there, Akwenya Sejima getting 100%. When you go to Obuasi Municipal, we have Elijah Adansibona getting 100%. When you go to Obuasi East, Faustina Emis also having 100%. When you go to Setre area, yesterday there was Setre East district, Benjamin Kingsley had 71%. So there are varied percentages coming.
Some of the president's nominees have been rejected. What is that telling us about the kind of people who were nominated for the positions?
So it tells us that normally the assembly members are looking beyond the political affiliation or the party line. They are looking at people who are competent, people who can deliver results, because these are the people they've been working with in the last 5 years. So for me, it goes to prove that the assembly members are not just looking at maybe what they will get or the financial dividend, but they are looking at competency. When you take the Kwabra East area, when you take the Kenyase and Twa roads, one of the main concerns of the people of Kwabra is their roads. Sakawo, Noma, Pontin, all these areas. So they are complaining bitterly about the poor nature of roads in their municipality. I think that played a key role in the rejection of the MMDC in that area.
Now, the one who was rejected is a new entrant.
Yes.
So you expect that if the people are expecting these roads to be fixed, they should approve him, or if they should have some level of confidence in him, he should be approved.
I think that they are just making a statement to the appointing authority that you cannot take us for granted. For example, when it comes to the Ashanti region, the constituency that gives the MPP the biggest voting margin is the Kwabra East region. When you take the 2016 election results, they gave close to 81,000 votes. In the 2020 results, though they had an independent candidate from the stock of the MPP, they still put 71,000 votes for the MPP. So they are making a statement to the president. You cannot just change the candidate and expect us to confirm the candidate.
For the Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly and also the Asukariman municipality, there have been a lot of issues. These are areas that a number of people in the Ashanti region believe will be the toughest of the number that we've seen so far. Through your investigation and also the work you've been doing in these areas, what are the dynamics?
The issue with the KMA has to do with the assembly members saying that there are some outstanding debt that the government owes them, some 50 million cedis or so. I believe that...
Owes the assembly members or KMA?
Or KMA, because they are part of the assembly members, and I think that they will have some financial dividend from that money. I think that the government must pay some of these monies for the local government machinery to run smoothly. Sampai has a certain semblance of watches when it comes to the politics of the region. He's been the regional secretary of the MPP. He also has been an assembly member himself twice. He's been part of the local assembly structure of the region. So I think that he has some competence under his belt. Asokramampo is normally dominated by 65 to 70% of Muslims or people of northern extraction. Their contentment or their issue with the government is that you are bringing somebody from Inshiayeso who's not just any person, the person who has been an MP for the area for one term, to become the municipal chief executive of Asokramampo. Also, this person didn't apply to Asokramampo. The person we know for record and for fact applied to the KMA. So it's as if you are giving us a reject of KMA. So the demographics are many. So sometimes the outliers are able to see more of the issues that bedevil the people. Maybe Kennedy can come, maybe that. But for me, I think that when Ali Dusedu, Manaf, and the various camps are spoken to, the assembly members are spoken to, and the reasons for the appointment of Kennedy can come and explain to them, I think that they may be able to accept him. And who knows, maybe he may put Asokramampo on the map.
A political science lecturer at the University of Ghana, Professor Joseph Achuai, says there's no reason why multi-party democracy at the national level cannot be replicated at the local level, since the process already has traces in local governance, although he highlighted the disadvantages resulting from the absence of political neutrality. He encouraged the country to take steps to adopt election of MMDCs on partisan lines. He said this at the 4th Nathan Annan Kwao lecture held here in Accra.
People are afraid that when the parties come in, they will polarize their assemblies, it will lead to violence, it will lead to division. And I always ask this basic question, that where in the world you have party politics at the national level and at the local level, you have non-parties. There are few countries we have. Even I'll tell you that Denmark in 1953 barred political parties in the local governance system. But in 1990s, they reversed that decision. Now you have political parties being part of the system. But the point I want to stress here is that multi-party democracy is the game in town. You can have only few countries which do not practice multi-party democracy. Why have we embraced multi-party at the national level and we are afraid to bring it to the local level? It is a serious contradiction.
The Member of Parliament for Odododo, Nilanti van der Poel, expressed support for the election of MMDCs, but disagreed with the suggestion it should be run on partisan lines.
I think that, yes, we must elect MMDCs, but I am always of the view that, look, if we go strictly partisan the way we have gone, there are certain places that there is no way standing here, I'm so disposed towards working for the district, I will get elected because I belong to another political party. And our political party nominations have not been on the issue of competence and capability. Today, at the parliamentary level, there are certain constituencies the chairman will tell you, I'm getting you to become MP. And when you go, your first car is for me. Nana is aware, some constituencies, I don't want to mention name. And if you don't do it, you'll be one term. That chairman will bring somebody to contest you the next primaries, and you are off. Because they control the delegates. Do we want to see the same thing replicated at the assembly level? The reason why I am passionate, because I love local governance. And when I see that danger, that fighting, getting down to a local level, I'm sure by the time we reorganize, we'll be sitting here in the next 15, 20 years to make the same argument, let's reform. But I'm all for election of MMDCs. It will stop all these corruption, all these routes and violence that characterize the appointment of MMDCs.
Meanwhile, head of local government service, Dr. Ato Arthur, says the election of MMDCs will reduce the incidence of winner takes all at the national level.
Election of assembly members,
MPP is organizing primaries. NDC is organizing primaries. Something that we say is non-partisan. Why are they secretly organizing these primaries? And they're illegal as far as our constitution is concerned. If you look at today, the appointment and the hula baloo around it, if we were to elect MMDCs, by this time we would have done the election long ago. And I agree with you. The winner takes all. We reduced. Assuming today we are having MMDC's elections. You go to some parts of Volta Uti, you could get some on a ticket of NDC. And MMDCs are part of the executive, isn't it? So now, this system of MPP comes to power 7 January, 8 January, Nilante and their team are campaigning. If NDC is in power, 8 January, MPP is campaigning. How does the party even get stabilized to even appoint their ministers for them to start work? If we get some of the MMDCs from other political parties, I believe that it will help us to build nation inclusively.
Now, one of the problems with domestic electric pressing iron is that they can catch fire if left plugged in for a long time. During this period, iron still consumes power, raising total energy consumption. However, students from the Department of Physics at the KNUST have designed a low-cost socket adapter that has the ability to turn off the pressing iron after a predetermined time set by the user elapses. On Tech Thursday, Love FM's Kwesi Deborah speaks with the students.
According to a 2016 report in the journal Health and Safety at Work, domestic fires account for 41% of all fire incidents in Ghana. The iron. The pressing iron is one of the most predominantly used domestic appliances. Unfortunately, is a major cause of contact burns in children, accounting for 74% of the cases. The students, Peter Azure and Kenneth Akambodipo, tell their motivation behind the innovation.
There is always the tendency that after ironing, you forgot to turn the iron off. And by the time you come back from where you went, the iron has pulled all the credits on your prepaid. That's if you are lucky. But if you are not lucky, it might even tip over and cause fire outbreak.
The design uses a microcontroller, an AC to DC converter, and a dial that allows a user to set the desired ironing duration. The adapter is programmed from 5 minutes to 1 hour. The socket adapter provides power to the electric iron connected to it according to the selected duration.
Okay, this is how this device works. When you look at the front view, we have 2 LEDs here. This LED is red and then this LED is green. Now, beneath the LEDs, we have the potentiometer. The potentiometer is what you use to regulate the time. So, for instance, if a user wants to iron, first of all, the minimum time you can use is 5 minutes, and then the maximum time is an hour. So, if the user twin it, say you want to iron for 10 minutes, and you twin the potentiometer to 10 minutes. Now, this 10 minutes here, when you tune the potentiometer to 10 minutes, doesn't necessarily mean that the device will start working unless you trigger this push button. So when I plug it to the wall, the red LED will show, indicating that there is power from the means, that is the power supply, to the adapter socket. Now, when I trigger the push button, ready to use, that is after setting the time, then this green LED will come, which will also indicate that there is power from your socket to the iron. And in the situation whereby you want to iron for like 10 minutes and you've set it to like 15 minutes. So when you finish ironing within the 10 minutes and the device is still working, the user has the ability also to trigger the push button. When you trigger the push button, it will terminate the time that is set. And a situation whereby lights went out, if lights goes out and the lights come again, this device will not work until you trigger the push button. So a user can also decide not that, oh, this is good for the iron. So he can purchase one for an iron and one also for a heater. So in the case whereby someone is using the iron and he wants to heat water, he can simply use it. You can simply use it to heat your water.
Reporting for Joy News, Kwesi Debra.
The Center for Aging Studies of UN Ghana is calling on government to pass the Aged Persons Bill. This call was made in commemoration of the annual International Day for Older Persons under the theme Digital Equity for All Ages. The bill, when passed into law, will integrate the rights and needs of older persons into national policies to focus on 3 spheres: the older person and development, advancing health and well-being into age, and ensuring an enabling environment for the elderly. Speaking with Joy News, Director of the Center, Professor Mavis Dako Jeche, explained the reason behind this year's theme and the need for government to expedite the process.
And this year, the theme is on digital equity for all ages. And that is what United Nations has come up with. So we are following in that regard. And the areas that we are emphasizing has to do with ageism and human rights, sustainable development, access and literacy, cybersecurity and ethics, as well as accountability. What we are saying is that over the years, when it comes to digitalization, we think that it is something that younger people do. But we think that since people are aging, it is very important that we include our older persons in everything we do, including digitalization. So we have to find ways and means to bring them on board so that they can access information by using things like phone, computers, and other things that they can use. So once we do that, they are not left behind. That is where society is going, and we think that they need to go with us. As they age, they experience some challenges. Could be physical challenges, cognitive challenges, that makes them frail.
Now, some caterers are demanding the removal of the regional and national appointees at the School Feeding Secretariat. They immediately want them to step aside for investigation. The association cites the lack of effective monitoring, failure to engage MMDAs as some of their reasons. Addressing a section of the media at a news conference, Public Relations Officer of the Ghana National Association of Caterers, Caroline Abuaje, accused the appointees of engaging in some fraudulent activities, including the payment of some 510 ghost schools to the tune of 12 million Ghana cedis during the 2019-2020 academic year.
1. Lack of effective monitoring. Over 9,000 schools participating in the scheme in all parts of the country, and with less than operational staff, monitoring to ensure compliance and integrity has been very difficult exercise. Lack of involvement of MMDAs and GES. When school feeding was implemented under the Ministry of Local Government and Rural Development, GSFP could easily utilize its resources of the MMDAs, both human and material, to prosecute the GSFP agenda. With the shift of GFPS to MMDAs are not forthcoming as before. The absence of MMDA staff at the MMDAs has further aggravated the situation. Delay in payment. The prolonged indebtedness of GSFP to the caterers is also a factor contributing to inefficiency on the part of many caterers. Incompetent and corrupt leadership. This is our greatest concern as caterers. The incompetent and corrupt leadership. The current leadership of the Secretariat has proved to be highly incompetent due to the leakages and mismanagement of funds, victimization and threat. It is very sad to say that caterers receive threats from their zonal and regional coordinators when they voice out their grievances. 3. Payment of ghost schools. Since the first term of 2019-2020, the school feeding has been paying schools which doesn't have feeding program. It is estimated that over 12 million Ghana cedis was paid to 510 schools across the countries which has no feeding example.
She further called on government to restructure the school feeding program. Moving on to other stories, Health Minister Kweku Agyemang has reiterated government's commitment to provide resources needed to promote healthcare. Speaking on behalf of the Vice President at the inauguration of the Methodist Oral Health School Complex, the Health Minister assured government is working to expand infrastructure in the training of health professionals at all levels. He said dental health is critical in the total healthcare delivery system. Here's a report by Mahmoud Mohamed Nuruddin.
The 3 million Ghana cedis facility was constructed by the Methodist Church with support from Rotary clubs in Kumasi, among others. The facility will provide one-stop dental and oral health care services, as well as serve as the first oral health nursing training school. It will also bridge the gap in the training of oral health professionals in the country, as at 2018 the dentist population ratio was estimated at 1 to 150,000. The Minister of Health, Dr. Kweku Agyemang, in a statement read on behalf of the Vice President, commended the Methodist Church for its pioneering role in quality health care delivery in the country.
The Methodist Church Ghana is one such key stakeholder. Through its Methodist health system, the Church has set up 4 hospitals and 21 health centers in 8 regions across the country. Few of the hospitals in Wenchi and Ankasi serve as administrators. In 2020, the Methodist health system provided healthcare services to over 10% of the catchment population where its facilities are located for general consultation, antenatal care, and childhood immunization. The hospitals treated over 22,000 inpatients and carried out 8,584 emergency and elective surgical procedures. In addition to healthcare, the Methodist Church has an enviable track record of promoting quality education and raising responsible citizens in Ghana. I urge the Church to keep up the good work and to use its platform to encourage the citizens to make lifestyle choices that promote good health and well-being. As the adage goes, prevention is better than cure.
He said government is working to expand infrastructure in the training of health professionals at all levels.
Government is committed to promoting healthcare and will continue to provide the needed resources and support to enhance the health infrastructure for the benefits of our people. In addition to the many interventions, we continue to expand and equip medical schools to train more medical doctors to improve the local patient ratio.
Chief Executive Officer of the Methodist Hospital at Ankasi, Joseph Atta Amankwa, reiterated their commitment to improving health care delivery in the country. He said the new facility has modern equipment to train health professionals.
We have taken into consideration quality as well as blending local content in the construction and finishing. Besides the Honorable Minister Nananum invited guests. The hospital, through its collaborators, both Ghana and abroad, has spent a little over 3 million Ghana cedis in the project, which covers construction, equipment, and finishing. The project includes 7 offices, 2 storerooms, conference room, reception, 12 washrooms, large outpatient area, 9 surgeries with 7 dental units, 2 counseling rooms, 2 student changing rooms, fully equipped CCSE, fully equipped laboratory, fully equipped X-ray room, and 3 fully equipped student classrooms.
The Executive Director of the Christian Health Association of Ghana, Dr. Peter Yeboah, noted access to oral health care is essential to the promotion of the general health of the people. According to him, poor oral health awareness coupled with limited infrastructure and trained professionals make access difficult for the majority of Ghanaians.
Presiding said, by the intent to produce critical oral health care professionals and to promote access to oral health care that is safe, timely, effective, efficient, equitable, and patient-centered, the Methodist Oral Health School Complex is aligning perfectly to Ghana's roadmap of achieving universal health coverage by 2020. And thankfully, our Honorable Minister defines universal health coverage to be timely access to high-quality health services, irrespective of ability to pay at the point of need. Honorable, we are grateful for your leadership in that effort to attain universal health coverage.
The presiding bishop of the Methodist Church, Most Reverend Dr. Paul Kobina Boafo, said the provision of the facility was a consolidation of the partnership between the church and the government to provide quality healthcare services to the people. A report by Mohamed Nuruddin.
This is Johnny Prime with me and Asmino. Up next is business. Charles is standing by after the break. Stay with us.
Yeah, welcome to Business. The National Coordinator for the SCORE initiative at the International Labour Organization, Samuel Osiedo, is calling on multinationals and financial institutions to support the initiative aimed at helping small and medium enterprises move and improve productivity in their operations. The program, which has benefited more than 350 local firms so far, is expected to expand to other parts of the country with necessary support. Samuel Osiedo has been speaking with Joy Business after an engagement with lead buyers in Accra.
The SCORE program by the International Labour Organization has been running in Ghana since 2009 with support from the Swiss government and now the German government through the GIZ. The buyers' engagement was aimed at propagating the good news of the initiative and sharing challenges faced by Ghanaian small enterprises with multinational firms in order to get them on board with more support. According to the National Coordinator, Samuel Osiedo, this will help expand the program to other areas of the country.
The enterprises also do business with these major organizations, and it is just right to ensure that these enterprises are delivering quality services. And for us to ensure that, we need to actually build the capacity of these enterprises. So lead buyers, not only banks, they could be other multinationals. They could be in the processing sector, they could be in the mining sector, they could be in the service sector, but have a number of actors in their supply chain delivering services. Can subscribe to SCORE for these enterprises just to build their capacity and improve productivity and quality of these enterprises.
Implementing partners for the program, the Management Development and Productivity Institute said that the capacity building training for the beneficiaries has been yielding some results. Here is Deputy Managing Director for the Institute, Bernice Ajay.
Going very, very well, and there's so many enterprises that are waiting to be part of this training. They really need it. What the awareness that we are creating is that employers must be able to enhance their employees' training so that they can do a better job, and through that the productivity will be increased. I think that we don't connect productivity with training for our workers, but through this people are becoming in fact aware of the health and safety issues, the issues, mental health issues and social issues with our workers. And through that, once you've identified all this and also put a plan in place for workers' safety at work, I think productivity is increased.
The initiative is expected to benefit SMEs in all sectors of the economy.
Now, the Member of Parliament for Esikado Ketan constituency, Joe Gatti, has called on government to revise the legal regime and framework of the private sector to ensure economic independence. According to him, the future of Ghana depends on the private sector, as history has shown that government does not need to do much, but to create a comfortable working environment for the private sector to thrive. He said this at the launch of the UPSA Enterprise and Innovation Center.
Government has been charged to retool the legal environment and framework of the private sector to warrant economic liberation. Speaking at the launch of the UPSA Enterprise and Innovation Center, Member of Parliament for Esikadu Ketan constituency, Joe Gatti, referred government to history on how to create unimaginable opportunities for the private sector. Listen to his acceptance speech as chairman of the advisory board of the UPSA Enterprise and Innovation Center.
There are examples of the private sector being the engine of growth in several countries. This is also the case in Ghana, and there are sectors that the sectors in the private sector that have developed beyond our imagination. The question is, what then must the state and other stakeholders do to release the energies of our youth and business community in order for them to create wealth? In 1994, Charles Weku Broby, fondly known as Charlie Brobs, tested the constitutional provisions of the freedom of the press by establishing a private radio station called Radio I. This was the beginning of our work as a nation to press freedom and led eventually to the establishment of a multitude of radio and television stations. What did government do to make this happen? Did government give people money to establish the radio stations? Did government subsidize these media outlets? The answer is no. Government simply created the legal environment which enabled the private sector to operate, and indeed the private sector has responded.
Chief Executive of InnoHub, Nelson Amo, disclosed that his outfit has funded the initiative with about $25,000. As a member of the advisory board for the center, Mr. Amo pledged his company's support to ensuring the realization of the program through structuring.
Our role has been the structuring this whole program to see how can it meet the needs of student entrepreneurs. So what the components should go in at business incubation, at ideation, all the various components of this business support program. InnoHub has basically been the driver behind setting the structures. In terms of the support that we have put in to quantify that one, it's running into about $25,000 so far.
One of the students, Bright York, expressed his delight and stated that he looks forward to submitting his business proposal to be considered.
I really would want to appreciate UPSA for this initiative, and personally, I'm thrilled, yes, to come to the fact that we students of the University of Professional Studies and students who are also from other universities are being given the opportunity to nurture business ideas which will be profitable to University of Professional Studies and then the nation at large.
Now, government involvement in the management of the yet-to-be-launched National Development Bank will affect the progress of the bank and dilute its intended purpose. That's key among findings by the African Center for Economic Transformation, with the Agri Development Bank and the National Investment Bank in focus. The research shows that the two banks are still being influenced by government decisions. The country director of Agence Française de Développement, Christophe Court, says the integration of foreign investors in the governance structure of development banks will help reduce the political interference in the activities.
Senior Director of Research and Advisory at the African Center for Economic Transformation, Dr. Edward Odum, explains that the main rationale behind the research is to propose ways to solve credit and financing problems of financial institutions in Africa. He was speaking during a validation workshop on a research conducted by the African Center for Economic Transformation on the topic, The Political Economy of National Development Banks, ADB and NIB in Perspective. According to him, the research has been conducted to aid in the formulation of policies to further strengthen operations of development banks in Ghana.
From last year, we took on the challenge to engage directly with the private sector to provide a very holistic approach to economic transformation. And so looking at the private sector, we basically have focused on two things: supporting at the policy level and then also directly being involved with SMEs at the micro level. Now, if you look at SMEs, then they come and you do a lot of analysis and assessment. They come with their own myriad of challenges. And one of these challenges is actually access to financing and cheap financing, if I may say so. And so looking at this, we've actually commissioned a number of different studies where we look at how do we de-risk financing into the SME sector.
Head consultant at ACET, Professor Joshua Abo, is optimistic that the Development Bank Act 2020 could realign development banks back to their main purpose.
If you want to look at these institutions as development banks, then we need to look beyond profit making. So performance will not be looked at in terms of profitability, but also in terms of the developmental impact. Because from the discussion, we define what development banks are. Development banks are set up to achieve socio-economic objectives or goals. And so if you are looking at it in terms of making sufficient profit to get you going, and at the same time achieving your developmental objectives or impact, they will say you are really operating as a development bank.
Head of Private Sector Development at ACET, Charles Odum, believes that the restructuring of the governance arrangements of development banks could be a first step in ensuring maximum results are achieved.
By definition, the government has a majority share in the development banks. So there would always be some kind of political interference. The question is, what is the nature of the governance arrangement that allows the development banks to operate within a framework which is developmental oriented? And what we're trying to assess today is to see the extent to which these banks, which have been developed, established over the last 30, 40 years, whether or not the institutional arrangement, the governance arrangement are still fit for purpose.
And that'll be it for business. We have sports coming next. In the meantime, here are some international business news.
Many thanks for joining me. In order to ensure Ghana produces more boxing world champions, President of the Ghana Boxing Authority, Abraham Kote-Inikwe, has disclosed his outfit will only sanction high-quality bouts. My colleague Asari Bediako has more in this report.
The Ghana Boxing Authority is not relenting in its efforts to ensure Ghana reclaims its rightful place in world boxing. The new executive board of the GBA has put in place measures to produce more world champions for the country. Speaking at the launch of the Idrowit Big Fight Night, slated for October 9, GBA President Abraham Kote-Inikwe revealed only high-quality bouts will be sanctioned.
We are going to make sure this time we have a good fight. And when they brought their promotions letter to my office, I said, I want a good fight. And I saw the whole thing, I realized it's a good fight. If you don't give me a good fight, I will not sanction it. That's all. There is no problem. If you don't give me a good fight, I will not sanction it.
Abraham Kote-Inikwe also underscored the importance of the promotions department of the Ghana Boxing Authority.
The promotions team have an office they have the decks. Actually, they have the decks in the office. So it's not like I don't see anything. Before it comes to the Secretary General, they move to the decks of the promotions team. Then it comes to the President's office. Then I return it back to promotions and tell them I'm okay. So I want to assure the director that this time is going to enjoy voicing. Yes, in Ghana, we continue to make the headway when it comes to sports. It has always been boxing, and it will always be boxing.
From boxing to point kickboxing, Team Ghana has intensified preparations for the 2021 East Coast Classics, which comes off next month in South Carolina in the United States. Eight Ghanaian point kickboxers will be fighting to win medals in the tournament slated for October 8. Head coach of Team Ghana, Seth Mensah, and medal hopeful Isaac Comey say they are ready for the event.
The guys are already prepared, and I mean we have no problem about the guys. Whatever that we need from them, we have got it. So we are 100% sure. We are 100% sure that they'll make it. We work with in the area of the kicks and the punches, yeah, because as a point contact fighting, your hands have to work and your legs also have to work because it's a point. So always you have to achieve that. You have achieved your goal. You have to determine and focus that this is what I'm going in for, and I have to claim it. For the athletes, actually, for you being a fighter, you already know. Even in our guys, they all know, or we all know that with them, they know the type of training that we have given them to gain their points and so forth.
I'm ever prepared for these bouts that the tournaments coming ahead that we are going to participate in. I'm prepared. Everything that I do to win my fights, I've done it, and I've done excessively. So I'm going to perform more. Ghanaians should expect more from me.
I understand you were once a boxer. Why the switch to point kickboxing?
Yeah, this is we normally grab opportunities. Yeah. So I do fight. I fight in all. I fight in boxing. I fight in MMA. I fight kickboxing. I do Muay Thai. So any challenge that comes on my way, I grab it and I do it. This is what I say I want to do. So I normally do all. And I do challenge the boxers, Ghana good boxers that we have here. I challenge them, yeah. So I'm ever prepared for anything that come on my way.
So what makes point kickboxing special?
Point kickboxing is in the form of kickboxing, and this is an opportunity, and we don't give up on opportunities. This is our lifestyle, what we say we want to do. And ever since we were young, we've practiced more of this, and this is in our field, so we are in for all.
And that's it for sport. You can read more at myjoyonline.com/sport. I am Hans Mensah, and many thanks for your time.
That's it for Joy News Prime. Many thanks for your company. For more news, you can log on to myjoyonline.com. You'll find more stories there.
My name is Kujo Yankson. Let me tell you how to turn back time. You can now bring back all the fun, all the excitement, all the controversy of the Super Morning Show and all your favorite Joy shows when you go to myjoyonline.com/podcasts. Just select your favorite show and bring it all back again. Joy 99.7 FM, radio for discerning listeners.
It's radio, Joy 99.7.